That guy's about to get the most amazing street cred, and he's actually doing nothing. How could he complain about his eyesight when he doesn't bother to groom his eyebrows? Like, if he just shaved that shit, he'd be able to see again, I guarantee you. And is he about to be the biggest teddy bear known to man? Can we just take a moment to appreciate the most autistic character of the season? Has no issues one-shotting an Earth Dragon, but when it comes to anything social, she freezes up and her HP is basically at -1. She's absolutely best girl. Make sure you drop a like, share your support, subscribe if you're new around here, and Patrons where we catch my full live reactions. So, another amazing episode. Like, there's nothing wrong with this show. Like, the production is amazing. The worst you could say about that is the 3D horse, but to be honest, if you're bitching and moaning unironically about the 3D horse, look at the start of the episode. We had a giant, beautiful Earth Dragon monstrosity, and that thing looked awesome. And she literally sniped it from a distance. It's kind of funny, though, because, like, Buddy's like, I'm gonna deal with it. And, you know, to his credit, like, that was talent. It's just, you know, most people can't one-shot an Earth Dragon, let alone one-shot it because you need to hit it right between the eyes. And he was struggling up close, mind you. Because obviously, like, it's going to be difficult. And she did it from how many yards away in a tower? With a little finger pistol? Pew pew. I love her so much. The whole point of this episode was to once again flesh out the student council cast a little bit more, on top of just seeing like where the school side of stuff will go for her. Despite seemingly, you know, our prince knowing more or less why she's there and who she is, at face value, everything's still kind of up in the air above kind of playing pretend, right? So, by the end of the episode, she signs up for 2 classes. One is for chess, and one is for horse riding, which is probably the most normal, non-explosive thing she could have done. But given her introverted nature, I think is pretty great, because on one hand, the horse riding side of it will probably be a lot more like interpersonal, like one-on-ones, and yeah, she'll have to socialize with the horse and stuff, but it'll probably be a lot more calm than, you know, a big student body kind of environment. Chess, on the other hand, while sure a lot of people again, it will be mostly one-on-one matches and stuff, so it will be easier for her. And I love the idea that the one class that she probably would normally take in any other environment, she's unable to because, you know, basically Buddy, who I have to love this, he can't see, so he's like blind these days. And I wonder why his eyebrows cover his, like, at one point we're gonna see him like lift up the hair and he's gonna be like, wait a second. Like, I know that's coming at some point, but I love the fact that he's like, oh yeah, I had this one student, she was amazing, she can cast without talking and she's great, this, that, and the third, and she's like, oh shit. The only reason she got out of there without being exposed is because Buddy busted the magic meter, which I have to love how they bent the cliche. It's so normal for any sort of magical series that reads mana to, like, when the character interacts with it, it shatters, whether or not it's an explosive shatter or just like we saw in this episode. But I love the fact that it wasn't her who did it, it was actually Buddy, and I thought that was a nice change of pace, and it gave a funny way for her to leave the situation. So, like, the big thing was that, like, once again, we are expanding the student council, and I've liked everyone we've interacted with up to this point, but I gotta admit, I like the idea of this guy and how he's like, okay, she's very clearly smart. Like, she's observing things faster than a lot of people would. She says she doesn't know how to play chess. All right, we'll do this. And they have a match, and ultimately it ends with him castling. And, you know, he hums and haws if he should do it or not, because he feels kind of scummy. This is a first-timer. I'm pulling out this. Like, I haven't even explained what it could be. But I love the fact that, like, she wouldn't be mad at that at all. Like he tries to apologize before she, like, points out, like, hey, these people are clearly thieves or something. But I love the fact that he's, like, he's humble enough to be like, I want to win, but she seems talented, but she's a newbie, but she feels, like, he clearly, you know, he didn't need to feel bad over that if you ask me, but I think the fact that he did shows a genuine character and, like, a kind part of his character. And I think their dynamic will be fun on the chess side, and then, of course, with the girl at the end, the stuff with the horse riding on the other side. Because the thing was is she needed to take 2 classes, and I wasn't sure, like, what she would pick, because if you would have pointed a gun to my head before this episode starts, she's going to take 2 classes, I would have assumed some sort of magical learning class and then something more. Like, I figured that would be a dynamic, because you'd have the intensity class where she has to desperately try to avoid overpowering everyone, and something boring to chill her day out. And instead we got fun chess and fun horse riding. Brilliant. And I think the thing about Monica as a character is she's like truly better than just a meme. Like she has meme energy for days, and a lot of her mannerisms and the way she interacts is absolutely just meme. It's like the meme-a-thon 10,000. But the thing about her is like she's just such a bundle of joy, and I think that's what's so great about watching her open up. And I think it's really nice too with her familiar actually pointing this out in this episode that like, hey, you're no longer as like shook when I'm in this form anymore. You're clearly growing. There's progress. Good job. We're proud of you. We're clearly going to see more and more of that over time. But the thing with like heavily introverted people, especially like her, who's 100% on the spectrum, like she's wrote identical to it. And I love that because they're not making it into like a joke, but just legitimately like that's how she behaves because that's how someone on the spectrum would. And I think so many people are so used to like it being like the butt of a joke rather than just like, hey, yeah, it can be a learning disability and it can be a social disability, but you can clearly tell she's smarter than most people in the damn room. Like the fact that there's an entire joke about how vice presidents like drawing out the emblems. Guy has no talent for art, which I'm not saying I'm any better, but the fact that he's like, you know, it's there, and she's like, yeah, I got an eidetic memory. This is what it looks like, which leads into great foreshadowing for her spotting the most subtle differences known to man. Like, I mean, if the girl's like biggest like downside is that she's antisocial as hell, yeah, she's probably a pretty great treat to keep around. It's just a very good show. It's well produced, it's well paced, like everything about it I just really enjoy. And it's a type of comfort show that you don't always see, because usually when you have these kind of slow burn witch series, which to be honest we're getting more and more of these days. Really, I think the turning point was probably around the Flying Witch era. If anyone ever saw that anime, great show, slice of life, highly recommend it. But they are a lot more slow burn, and I can understand why some people treat them as like watching paint dry, even if I enjoy them. Where this show, it sprinkles in just enough action, constantly has humor, and then when it gets into the more simple slice of life scenes, I don't know, the way they explain, like, I don't give a shit about chess, man, but I was engaged with that chess match. And given that clearly chess will be a part of her school journey here, I'm really excited to see more of it, which, if you're having me, someone who has no interest in chess, saying, I'm interested in watching her play more chess, you probably did a pretty great job, all things considered. But yeah, just give me more of her one-shotting dragons from a distance, because that was cool as hell, and we stan a hyperfixation gremlin queen. So let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And Patreon is where I catch my full live reactions and other exclusives, like, hey, I give video shoutouts to all my patrons. So today we got Irmu, Kaz, Jan, Torna, and we also have Southern Bookworm. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.